Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Shaw, creator of the DTO system and founder of the DTO Academy. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how positive triggers can affect us negatively. Now, I know that probably sounds completely nuts and doesn't make sense at all, but I'm going to explain. So in the last few videos, I've spoken about triggers a lot. I've spoken about how triggers affect us, the different types of triggers. I've spoken about the 2 secret triggers that affect us. But now I'm going to speak about how positive triggers affect us. Now, what I mean by that is that there are things that we would consider positive that cause negative reactions. And let me give you a classic example of that. So, meditation is something that is positive. There is nothing negative about meditation whatsoever. But most people think they can't meditate. And it's not they can't meditate, it's they're being triggered out of the meditation. So, they're actually being triggered to not do it. I'll give you an example. One of my clients, she was doing a guided meditation. And as the person guided her through the meditation, he spoke about drifting off into a dark night sky. And that dark night sky triggered a negative response in her. So she then couldn't meditate. She actually freaked out when she heard the dark night sky. So it was no longer just, I can't meditate, it actually freaked her out. So we had to switch it off. And once we switched that off, she can meditate fine. But traditionally in meditation, if people sit down, what they do is they think they can't concentrate. And it's not that, it's they're being triggered by either sitting still or feeling relaxed or hearing the quietness. So if when you close your eyes to meditate, you hear it's quiet, that can trigger you to go, oh no, I've got to be doing something. And you can get up and do it and not really relax. Or you can be triggered by the feeling of relaxation. So when you feel yourself relax, that could trigger, oh no, God, I've got to do something, I've got to get up. Uh, or it could be the feeling of stillness. Not necessarily, you might perceive it as stillness, not relaxation. But it's the same thing. It's still triggering you. Oh, it's too still. I've got to move. All of those things are triggers. It's not you can't meditate. You're being triggered out of the meditation. And all you have to do is switch that trigger off and it will go away and you will be able to meditate. So that's an example of how something like meditation can trigger you to not do it. But other positive triggers are things like emotions. We can have positive emotions that trigger us, like happiness. Now, you might be thinking, well, how's happiness going to trigger you negatively? Well, it actually can. If you feel happy all of a sudden, and then the next day you feel miserable again, you feel like you always lose the happiness, like the happiness never stays, and it always goes back to shit or goes negative. Then there's a strong chance that when you do feel happy, it triggers a negative response in you and causes you to sabotage yourself from being happy. And it's actually very, very common. I see it a lot in my therapy with people. They actually don't feel comfortable being happy. They don't think happiness lasts, so they sabotage it. There's so many belief systems around it. So it's actually the feeling of being happy that triggers you to sabotage it and go back to being negative. Likewise, the feeling of relaxation triggers people. They can't, like I said, with meditation, some people just can't sit still in life. I know quite a few people, they can't sit down for 5 minutes. They have to get up and do something. Because as soon as they feel themselves sitting down relaxing, their belief system is like, oh my God, no, I've got to get up. No, I've got to do things. I can't be lazy. No, I mustn't waste time. I've got to get things done. And that sadly, that's sometimes what we get instilled in as children. If our parents instill that in us, or life instills that in us, that we shouldn't relax, we shouldn't chill out, we've got things to do, we must achieve things in life. But there's a difference between relaxation and achieving. If you are like that, it's one thing to achieve, but you also need to allow your body to rest and relax as well. It's very important. You need to do both. So if you can't do that, then you're just being triggered. You're being triggered into that state where you must keep going all the time. So I hope that gives you an example of how positive things can trigger us. Now, there are lots of examples how positive things can trigger us. One of my clients was triggered by the mattress on his bed. Now, to me, a mattress is a positive thing because I think, oh, sleep, lovely, relaxation. But to him, it triggered his depression. And it's just basically all we've done, we've anchored a negative response to that feeling or that object in some way. And so it's now, instead of a positive thing, it now becomes a negative thing. And as I've mentioned before, sometimes triggers can start positive and they can turn to negative, like a favorite song. When you're in a relationship, you can have a wonderful song that makes you feel in love. And when you're in that relationship, it's brilliant. But as soon as you break up and you hear that song, it now becomes a negative in your mind. It now has all the negative emotions attached to it instead of the positive ones. So positive things that trigger us that trigger a negative response can be very subtle, and we often don't know they're there, and they're quite hidden. But they're important to find because they can sometimes be the most important ones. They can be the ones that are causing us the most sabotage in life, or causing us to not enjoy our life in the way we'd like to be able to. I hope that all makes sense and you got that. And by all means, if you can think of your positive trigger, if you can find it, post it below, wherever you are, on YouTube or Facebook. Tell me what your positive trigger is. Tell me what you think is triggering you that is technically positive. I would love to hear that. And once you start spotting it, you can start doing something about it. You can learn how to switch it off with the DTO process so it no longer bothers you any longer. And once you do that, you're free of it and you can move on and you can be happy and enjoy your life. If you enjoyed this video, if you're on YouTube, then click that notification bell, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, then like the video, love it, share the video. And if you have any questions and you want to reach out to me at jonathan@dtosystem.com, if you have something to ask me personally, or you just want my help, or if you want to learn DTO for yourself, you can go to the dtoacademy.com, and there you can learn a free 7-day introductory training in the DTO system. It's 100% free to learn, to introduce you to it, to show you how simple DTO is to do. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it, share it, love it, as I've said, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, stay healthy, stay happy, keep smiling, and I'll speak to you soon.